Today is that day.
Tanner Horner has officially received the death penalty for the murder of 7-year-old Athena Strand. After admitting to strangling 7-year-old Athena Strand to death after abducting her and essaying her, Horner was attempting to get a sentence of life in prison instead of the death penalty. Over the last several weeks, his sentencing trial has been taking place, and in that trial, the jury heard the audio of Horner strangling Athena to death. His defense tried to claim that his childhood and different developmental delays that he had contributed to him murdering Athena. And they tried to claim that his other identity, who they called Zero, is the one who actually murdered Athena. But the jury didn't buy it. They deliberated.
A FedEx driver pulled into a rural driveway in Wise County, Texas on November 30th, 2022. He was there to drop off a package. Christmas presents. A box of Barbie dolls meant for the 7-year-old girl who lived there. He left with the little girl. What investigators found when they pulled the footage from inside that van, the audio that played in that courtroom, had people breaking down in tears. What the trial exposed about what Tanner Horner did, what he had done before, and what he was planning the moment he covered that camera before he ever reached her house. That is what this video is about. Yesterday, a jury sentenced him to death. Her name was Athena Strand. She was 7 years old, and her name is now written into Texas law. Stay with me. Welcome to Hidden Crime Files. Today, we are covering the full Tanner Horner case, the trial, the death sentence, and every detail that was kept from the public until that jury heard it. Subscribe and hit the bell right now. Drop a comment and tell us where you are watching from. We read every single one. Now let us get into it. November 30th, 2022, Tanner Horner was a contract delivery driver working for a company called Big Top, which contracted with FedEx in Wise County, Texas. On the afternoon of November 30th, 2022, his route took him to a quiet, rural property in a small community called Paradise. The package he was delivering was a box of Barbie dolls, Christmas gifts for the family's youngest daughter. 7-year-old Athena Strand was outside near a converted storage shed that served as her and her sister's bedroom. She was sorting laundry. At 6:41 that evening, Athena's stepmother called 911. She could not find her. By then, Athena was already gone. Investigators traced the FedEx delivery to Big Top's van and pulled the footage. The interior camera showed Athena alive inside that truck, kneeling next to the driver. That driver was Tanner Horner. When police approached him, he did not run. He did not deny it. He confessed immediately and told them she was dead. He led them directly to her body, submerged in a few feet of water near a creek outside Boyd, Texas. She was naked. Her hands had been covered with brown paper bags. His explanation? He had accidentally hit Athena with the van while backing out of the driveway. He said she did not seem seriously hurt, but he panicked, convinced she would tell her father and he would lose his job. So he put her in the van, and then he strangled her. That was the story he gave, and for a while, that was all anyone had. The trial blew every part of that story apart. On April 7th, 2026, the exact day the trial was scheduled to begin, right as jury selection finished, Tanner Horner stood up in that courtroom and pleaded guilty to capital murder and aggravated kidnapping. No guilt phase, no drawn-out trial, just a guilty plea. The only thing left for the jury to decide was whether he would live or die. Over the next 20 days, that courtroom heard things that had never been made public before. If this case is new to you, subscribe right now, because what came out in that sentencing phase changes everything about how this case is understood. Texas Ranger Job Espinosa testified about how investigators got Horner to talk. He said that getting a straight answer out of Horner was nearly impossible, until he started speaking directly to a persona Horner called Zero. Horner described Zero as an alter ego that would take over without warning, and Espinosa made the decision to play along. He spoke to Zero. He said his only goal was finding Athena and learning the truth, and he was willing to call him whatever he wanted to be called if it meant getting there. It worked. Speaking as Zero, Horner led investigators to where Athena's body was. But then, the story he told started falling apart entirely. During the sentencing phase, a forensic psychiatrist named Dr. Eileen Ryan testified that after 4 days of interviews with Horner at the jail, he gave her a completely different version of what happened. He told her he did not put Athena in the van because he hit her with it. He put her in the van because she saw him snorting cocaine inside the truck. He told Dr. Ryan he immediately assumed she would tell someone and that he would lose his job, which meant losing his son. 2 different stories, 2 different reasons, the same outcome for Athena. But prosecutors had something that made both of his stories irrelevant. Footage from inside Horner's van showed that approximately 1 hour before he even arrived at Athena's home, he used sticky notes to cover the front-facing camera. That is not panic, that is preparation. He covered that camera before he ever pulled into that driveway. But the camera facing the back of the van, the interior one, kept recording audio, even after he covered the front. And what that audio captured is what made jurors break down in that courtroom. Athena can be heard talking to Horner about her school and her teacher. A 7-year-old kid, just talking. Then everything changes. Horner tells her not to scream, or he will hurt her. He tells her to take off her clothes. And then, as Athena screamed, Horner was heard singing Jingle Bell Rock. He first tried to break her neck. When that did not work, he strangled her with his bare hands. The medical examiner testified that Athena died from blunt force trauma, smothering, and strangulation. A zigzag tread pattern was pressed into her face. Prosecutors said it matched the sole of Horner's shoe. DNA analysts also testified that Horner could not be excluded as a contributor of male DNA found in Athena's assault kit and under her fingernails. This was the first public confirmation of a sexual assault in this case. After she was dead, Horner dumped Athena's naked body into the Trinity River. Then he stopped at a Love's travel stop, bought cleaning supplies, and scrubbed down the inside of that van so he could return it to the FedEx station and go back into service the next morning. The next morning, December 1st, surveillance footage showed Horner driving right back past the Strand family home. Around 300 people were out there searching: neighbors, deputies, Texas Rangers, civilians with dogs and 4-wheelers. He drove through all of it, and when the road was blocked by search vehicles, he got frustrated about the delay. The trial did not stop at Athena. It went back years. 2 women came forward to testify about prior sexual assault by Horner. The first said he assaulted her after she made clear she was not interested in a relationship with him. The second said she first met Horner when she was 16 and he was 21. She said he knowingly pursued her, instructed her to lie about her age to others, and that in December 2014, after a night of drinking, she woke up to Horner assaulting her. And then, on the final day of testimony, prosecutors called a witness nobody expected. A man identified only as Billy. He described growing up alongside Horner almost like a cousin from the age of 3. He testified that Horner had sexually assaulted him when he was 10 years old. He also told the jury that over the years, Horner had made comments about wondering what it would be like to kill someone. Billy said he had reached out to Horner's own defense attorneys and told them he wanted to talk to prosecutors. He said they ignored him. He only ended up on that stand because he made a Facebook post about it and prosecutors found him. The defense made their case. Dr. Ryan testified that Horner carries diagnoses of autism spectrum disorder, major depression, ADHD, bipolar disorder, and fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. His mother took the stand and admitted she was using meth, cocaine, and marijuana while pregnant with him. At the end of her testimony, she broke down and turned toward Athena's family with an apology. His grandmother, who largely raised him, testified that he was a bully constantly as a child and that she tried everything to protect and support him. The defense also told the jury that Horner himself was sexually assaulted by a neighbor as a child. The judge had already denied a motion to remove the death penalty from consideration based on the autism diagnosis. He also denied a last-minute request after the defense argued that international media coverage had produced death threats against their team, witnesses, and Horner himself. Then the families took the stand. Athena's mother, Maitland Gandhi, described the last time she saw her daughter and a promise she had made to take Athena to see Christmas lights that Friday. She told the jury she has kept the red bow Athena was wearing in the last photos ever taken of her. She carries it with her. Athena's father testified about leaving for a hunting trip the day she disappeared. He said he stopped eating, lost 50 pounds, and started drinking to cope. When asked what he misses most about Athena, he said her laugh and her spirit. He said she loved everyone. Closing arguments were this morning. The Wise County District Attorney told that jury the only just outcome was death. He reminded them that Horner was still changing his story as recently as January of this year. He said that is not someone taking responsibility, that is someone still trying to rewrite what he did. The defense asked for mercy one final time. The jury deliberated for 2 hours. Death. Athena Strand was 7 years old. She was outside sorting laundry near her bedroom when a man she had never seen before pulled into her driveway with a package of Christmas presents meant for her. He had covered his camera before he got there. He already knew what he was going to do. The jury that heard 20 days of testimony, the audio from that van, the witnesses from his past, the women he had hurt before, the child he had hurt as a child, came back in 2 hours. Out of everything that came from this case, one thing carries forward: the Athena Alert. A Texas law passed in her name that allows law enforcement to issue a public alert for a missing child without having to meet every original Amber Alert requirement. It exists so that the next family does not have to wait as long as the Strands did. Her name is in that law now. Athena Strand, 7 years old. The red bow. Subscribe right now and hit the notification bell. This channel covers every major true crime case the moment it breaks. You do not want to miss what comes next.